Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. I don't know whether I've got the page right here, so let's just refresh this, make sure I'm doing things correctly. Kevin was driving the bus here today. Actually did a great presentation for the site. Got a little, we had a TRI secret options formula meeting last night, which really, what we really want to do is sort of a stock pickers club. So we do a whole bunch of fundamental screens, which sort of filter our universe. And we're hunting for location, indicator, confirmation, market structure, go. And man, I couldn't believe how many ideas there were last night. I mean, just literally at least a half a dozen to a dozen perfectly viable ideas that are just sitting there. So what that sort of tells me is if, we obviously have contentious political situations going on, if that can somehow just resolve itself, of course, somehow, I don't think it's going to resolve itself right away, but my hunch is probably the market's just waiting for that, some sort of resolution to that. And of course, COVID, people were quite optimistic about vaccine news there a couple of days ago. And for whatever it's worth, I thought it was actually critically important to find out that Russia's vaccine is 92% effective. Obviously, far, far better than the West's 90%. That's so classic Russia. So classic. Anyway, can't write better fiction than reality. I think I might argue that if a couple things that have happened here just over the past few days had happened just before the election, like China going and shitting on all the fucking freedom fighters down there in Hong Kong today, election results probably would have been very different. But oh well. Crazy world. Yes, and I know lots of conspiracy, tinfoil hat people are going to be jumping up and down. I suppose the good thing about it for all you guys, especially, like crypto enthusiasts who watch this channel, you have an out. Crypto is your out. You don't have to play the silly fiat game. But the good part about it is, if you're a crypto bull and you're playing this stuff on leverage and margin and stuff, well, a bull market's going to make you a lot of money. So if anything, you kind of want to see business as usual. You want to see, everybody get all stupid, euphoric, printing free money for everybody, so they can all go and buy their shit coins and we get more BitConnects, right? And woohoo, up go prices, big bull market, Lambos for everybody. So take it for whatever it's worth. My only hope is we can just somehow get through all this in one piece. And the market's going to do what the market does. That's just the market's job. Goes up, goes down. Try and hunt your setups. Try and find situations where you're like, holy shit, every time I see this happen, that happens. So I better get going. Location, indicator confirmation, structure, sure helps a hell of a lot. If you don't see that kind of stuff, then really my suggestion to you is just leave everything alone. Don't touch it. And just let the market do what it does. Goes zips up, goes zips down, but you just want to find your criteria that you kind of want to get to the point where you're like, holy crap, if I don't take that trade, I'd be an idiot. I've seen this happen so many times. I've got all these paper trades logged in my journal. I've got pages of journal entries noting that when I see this happen, that often happens, right? Anyway, rant. Okay, so broader market, I kind of think we're in like a dead cat bounce off of the intense pressure around the election event. Now we're kind of like, okay, what's going to happen next? I don't know whether I want to get too either bullish or bearish until we get really beyond the December 21st celestial event. And what a coincidence. I think the final date for Mr. Trump's appeals is somewhere around the 14th of December. So my hunch is this next sort of apex is around that. And gee whiz, if I understand correctly, the Jupiter Earth Pluto conjunct is the 13th. I beg your pardon, that's November. So that's all around the health. But Mr. Trump could carry this sort of highly stressful situation here now between Mr. Elect and Mr. Still There. But he could carry this on for a few more weeks here. I think that's the deadline when that has to basically be resolved. So we'll see how that goes. Lots of fun. Probably my hunch is this is, the back and forth of the politics is actually what's going to drive the market up and down. Super volatile, lots of stress. Don't be surprised to see things like Bitcoin and gold and stuff go zipping to new highs here as the pressure builds into that December 21st Jupiter-Saturn event. So with all that said, oh boy, that's a mouthful. Sure hope you got some value out of that. Doubt it, but oh well. If we look at the US dollar index itself, I still like the idea that we're just sort of in a range here. I watch so much stuff that quite often I lose focus on shorter term, like sort of maybe 2 or 3 day trade swings. And it's a pleasure working with these students because some people are like, I'm very active, I'm very focused, and they can hit these levels. And I was so proud to hear, I think our resident Kavark was buying US dollar index calls down in this area and then selling the calls up in this area and then buying them back in this area and just having us a lot of fun just zipping in and out of this thing. I like the idea that at some point we'll probably have to work our way up into 50% rules. Could there be one more FU against these lows here before they're done? Sure. There is that December 21st. That's actually the big apex pivot. So don't be shocked if there's still a bit more swimming to go here. Is it, man, this has been a tough period to sort of commentate through. Because subconsciously, I'm sitting here kind of going, nothing's really going to resolve itself for another, at least another month or so. So we just got to be patient. We got to keep saying the same message over and over and over. And we just got to get through this. I mean, it's really that simple. Great part about it, of course, if you trade setups, well, you just trade your setups. I was actually quite pleased to see. And you just never know where these damn things come in. Like a cryptocurrency popped more than a double. It happened to be on an exchange listing event, which often makes these things pop. And boom, out goes half on a double. And I just sit here, I mean, you tell me. I went and picked up this one off the bottom here. Seems to be working fairly nicely in my direction. Not quite at a double level for me yet, but that's a little bit hard. But you tell me. I mean, should I really be in a big hurry to sell here with this? I mean, silly stock could be $20. I mean, and there's so many of these. It's incredible. So it's not really like I'm in a huge hurry to sell. I just want to let stuff work. And what's so cool about TRI is you pop in the lounge and somebody's like, hey, this one came up on my screener. What do you think, guys? Look pretty good. I'm like, damn. I mean, they're everywhere. I love this little, in fact, actually there was somebody on social media I was touting about how much I love this little NSPR, wherever the hell it is. And Kevin, look at this CETX. Look at that. It just looks almost beautiful. And what's so cool, right, is that TRIers, they love the warrants because these guys are crazy ass bastards. And they all got doubles off today on that damn warrant. Look how that thing popped. That is just so cliche. So, I mean, that's the kind of market it is. So congratulations, TRIers, who did take that trade. Nicely done. I'm in the stock. Boring old man. So I'll just sit and wait for it to perform off of like the warrant took off. So what do you think? Do you think somebody knows something here? I wonder. Anyway, so lots of fun, I tell you. I mean, there's just name after name after name. Look at that little CRIS. I mean, that just looks perfect. So, that's the kind of market it is. And I keep saying the same thing over and over, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but are you trading the stock market or are you trading a market of stocks? If I look at the S&P 500 itself, I have a hard time coming in on the long side on something that looks like that. But I could see, I mean, that is a W. So I could see this thing grind its way higher here, and that's just going to lift all my little ones. I am interested to see how we're going to act on the other side of this 13th event with the sickness, because that's kind of what happened here. You see how we jumped up, then sort of calmed down a bit, then the sickness event or the celestial event. The resolution actually tells us where we're going to go. Jumped up, consolidate, event, resolution, tell us which way we're going to go. So here we are, jumped up. There's the event. Which way are we going to resolve? If she wants to go higher, well, so be it. One thing I absolutely insist that you guys all try and learn is don't tell the market where to go. Just don't do it. The market will go where the market goes. I was a bit surprised to see, speaking of which, a bit surprised to see the overt strength in the energy market here of late. Wonder whether we just hit that A, B, C, D doink. Okay, that had to get done. And now do we start rolling over again? So let's keep a close eye on any signs of failure out of this guy over the next day or two. We might get a nice little short entry there. But still, that's that sort of risk on kind of thinking. So stocks pointing higher, oil pointing higher. Of course, I think the corn is rocking and rolling here. Yeah, looks like we're pressing up against the highs here. Did we just break out? So 15,968 was the high of this particular candle over there on Stamp. And here we are at 15,936, 15,968. Geez, we're getting awfully close. So within just a whisker, I would be really surprised if this didn't break out. That's got to have broken out there. 15,968.98. 15,991. Yes, it did break out. Okay, silly Brian. So we have broken the new highs. That's encouraging. Probably not the best looking signal here, that's for sure. Probably the way I would look at this is you could draw extension levels off of this range to give you some upside objectives. So that's good. If this is divergent, oh boy, that could be trouble. So anyway, I mean, the risk market is still pointing higher. All the riskies are risking. Bond market, oh boy, oh man, this is classic 2020 end of the cycle. I talked lots about this yesterday. We actually did tick through those failure lows there yesterday. Look at the fight that's going on at this trend line here. So doing some serious technical damage here, no doubt about it. In fact, really, you could make the argument that a close below this level actually triggers the technical damage, and that actually happened there. So more technical damage. Now we're getting 1 bar, 2 bar confirmation now closing below that level. Now, I suppose, terrible trade location, but, maybe you want to hunt for like market structure failures on the other side of this blue line, M's. Might set up a bot short, but anyway, you shake it. Probably that gap right there is probably going to be your future reload short zone. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So if that's the case, then we probably get an idea of where the hell this thing wants to go. So let's go reload zone. Boom. And let's flip that around. Okay, so we said the gap right there is probably going to be reload zone, maybe 78.6. Wouldn't that be sweet, eh? Nice tag there. So, geez, bonds could crap out all the way down to here. I could see that. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, look, there's a big old gap right there. So let's note that gap. Doink. And so that would imply that maybe we're somewhere in there. So that gap would be right comfortably in that reload zone. So let's see what happens. And then, the more important thing here is, do you see the writing on the walls? This market looks very old. This, what's weird is this almost feels like deja vu. Wow, fascinating. I totally feel deja vu here. So anyway, bottom line here is This is ironically enough, this is a market that's getting ready for a whole shitload of stimulus. A whole bunch of new supply of government bonds are going to hit the market, and it's just simply supply and demand. The baby boomers are now gone. They've already bought all their bonds that they're going to buy. So now it's just really a question of who the hell is going to buy the new supply. That's a good question. You're probably going to have to see higher interest rates, lower bond prices to induce that demand. So, not the most optimistic picture if you are a deflation bull, we'll say. And really, that makes sense too, because we've been following our little inflation-deflation guide. And it's been saying, hey, you know what? We probably have to. The trend is in inflation's favor now. Problem is, we're still very deflationary, minus 30. To actually get back to outright inflation as a worry, we have to get back above this line. So we're still going to be probably contained in that deflationary world. But right now we have a little inflationary push. If that makes sense. We're less deflationary right now. That's probably the way that I would look at it. And these things take forever to turn. Like my hunch is what happens here. I mean, you can see how long this pattern is. If this is actually the turn, then we probably do something like this, and like that, and like that, and then up. So we won't actually see inflation become a major concern until about 2027, 2028, somewhere out in there. That would make sense, because remember, through here we're expecting the big growth blow off top. So it's going to take, like my hunch is, we're probably going to spend this time here trying to clean up the economies after the COVID mess. We'll get our act together, and then we'll push into that respective, every 10 years you get recessions, right? So you can see recessions often happen years that end in 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. So you can see the top will come in somewhere up here, but you can kind of see how that will play itself out. That's my hunch. So anyway, for whatever it's worth, from an inflation-deflation perspective. So with all that said, interesting to see these small caps still maintaining a bid. Remember I showed you like a few of those little junior names that we reviewed last night in our meeting, looking very strong. A lot of little altcoins looking very, very attractive down in here. Junior stocks. I tell you, buy when it snows. Guess what? Starting to, middle of November, we should probably start that. I actually went for a walk outside, and it was getting darn chilly out there here in Vancouver. What the hell, man? So, we're getting into the season where you should start thinking about what is your portfolio going to look like next May, June, July when you want to be selling. You don't have to go and shoot the wad all at once. Maybe put yourself on a dollar cost averaging plan, that kind of stuff. All right, so with regard to crypto in particular, I've been saying the same thing over and over and over. I do like the idea of some sort of pivot top here. Clearly, we're going up and washing some stops up top here. Remember we had said off the daily charts, we still didn't have that confirmed divergence yet. So a bit suspect to say this is it. If anything, what often happens is we'll get this final push up here. You can see it's on relatively light volume. So OBV is not really overly happy right now. We get that final push up, and of course it's not on a new move to higher and divergence. And then you get a little flake out and this thing starts crapping out. So be careful here, right? You can see price itself, remember we confirmed it's moving to higher highs, but RSI not even close to higher highs. MACD not even close to higher highs. Willie, and just modified Williams percentage R, staggeringly overbought. So the writing's on the wall, folks. You can go and buy that if you want, but this move higher here is not on new momentum pushes, and it's not on new volume pushes. We'll see where she goes. I mean, only time will tell. I think I've told you that there's a few technical targets out there. So I'm not really ready to say this is the top, that is the top. I mean, it could be any one of these. That's why they call these things potential reversal zones, not reversal zones. Absolutely guaranteed. It just doesn't work that way. So blew through 3 drives, blew through ABCD, blew through Shark, no signs of divergence. Here we come up to this Gartley, and it's interesting. Some site members are kind of like 65%, Brian. I don't know whether that's a Gartley. Are you sure? So actually, I respect that. That's a perfectly valid comment. So, I mean, I'm just going to watch and see. And, this is a weekly price chart. Probably, like I said, if we start coming into this Gartley and these divs are all over the place here, and we start failing, oh boy, look out. We've been following this path along here, and I've seen Bitcoin do this before here recently, eh? You see how it consolidates, pops up, it's a trap, back down she has to go. Bitcoin consolidates, pops up, it's a trap, back down she goes. Bitcoin pops up, it's a trap, back down she goes. So I don't know whether I can really believe that this thing is really broken out here. I did say recently, the range traders probably banging back and forth here. I like that short, and actually even that short was even better. We never did get back down to this candle body low, which is a bit suspicious. But, let's call a spade a spade. How do you define a bull market? Remember I did all these higher lows and higher highs. Well, we're getting that again. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high. She's still pointing up. I would imagine probably off like lower time frames, we're probably starting to get a little bit ridiculous up here momentum wise. Okay, no divs here on the hourlies, no divs here on volume. RSI is officially overbought on the lower time frame, and Willie is officially overbought. So too late to be a buyer, which sucks. Probably your breakouts. I kind of like that level right in there. So that played that breakout, that triangle right in there for lower time frame people. I don't know. I mean, here we are back up against the top end of the range. It's certainly nothing I can do. And I think I've told you guys this before. I'm a little concerned about this 8-to-1 up here. You can see how close we are. I mean, maybe that's what this divergence does. We pop up, hit that 8-to-1. The daily charts are all in divergence, and that's it. So, certainly no new trades here. Just big hurry up and let this thing consolidate. Does it want to work its way higher? Good. I don't see any reason why not. There's no failure yet, but I can't justify coming in on the buy side. You guys all know that. If anything, it's probably important that I just stay consistent. I will say I was looking at the TRI SOF formula on Bitcoin now, and actually the 50% level as it stands right now is around 10,000. I think it's like 9,900 or something like that. So the 12,000 puts will be worth $2,000 at that 50% level. So right now they're trading at about $1,100. So I think, we get up into sort of $1,900 for those options. I'm going to be taking a pretty darn good look, but I don't have any reason to act just yet. I think I've been telling you guys that. I've been sniffing around these puts. Same thing on the Ethereum. We went and priced these out. This thing looks pretty uppy, though. And I got a nice little W. So I would be inclined to let this thing exhaust itself. That's the Bitcoin chart over there. So here's the Ethereum story. Coming up against these highs. We got a bit of a div coming in here now. So if that starts crapping out, and like I said, on this one, the 50% level right now is at about 280 or so. Down in this area. There's the 200 SMA. So the 320 puts, I think it is. They'll be, or I guess guess it was 290 is the 50% level, which is just underneath this moving average. And the 320 puts will be worth $30, and right now they're trading at about $20 for June's. So again, just gotta be patient. There's no real hurry here, but even here you can see we're quite far away from breaking out. I do like these higher lows and higher highs, though. That does look good. So let's see what she does here. Can we get a big blast off here? And if we jump up into this area, then I'm gonna love those puts. But for now, I'm close, but not quite. Still a little bit too expensive. Anyway, altcoins. Oh boy, I love altcoins here. Altcoins. I mean, relative to Bitcoin, they probably don't look so great, but actually, it was interesting. Kevin went through a bunch of names, looked at them versus Bitcoin, then looked at them versus dollar, and still, even versus US dollar, a lot of these altcoins are still actually kind of expensive. So. I mean, just hunt your setups. Like a lot of these, you see this DeFi. I don't like the fact that this was a big V bottom here. That low is going to have to be tested at some point down the road. Same thing here. Same thing basically here. And actually, I've got my bids working down below on this stake. So I need this thing to come back down. Same thing on the link. Same thing on this energy webs. So I want to be a buyer of DeFi. I'm not going to chase. I got my bids working, just low and steady. So I tell you, I love that little dash. Look at that. I've been talking about that for 3 or 4 days now. It's just chunk, 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 chunk. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. It's trader's life. This LTO, this is one that we absolutely love recently. Beautiful little W. It's slowly working its way up here. Got a bit of cushion here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have to come back down against these lows here. So just be aware of that. You could probably join us on any serious pullback. Draw your reload zones, blah, blah, blah. You know how the story goes. So, it's interesting when you look at that big altcoin index, this shitcoin index perp. Still, I guess that sort of looks like those V bottoms on the DeFi names. So, not really ready to even get excited about something like this. It's more like all the other ones that are just absolutely dead against their lows. Those look really good right now. Okay, so what's the conclusion here today? We didn't really talk gold. Gold's not really doing much. Remember we had said yesterday, bull bear battle lines drawn. We're just sort of stuck there, just asking which way we want to go. So nothing really. And the gold names like the AEM that I was watching broke to another new low this morning, so there's nothing there. Do like doing sort of VCIM nibbles. Bunch of cute little penny stocks in Vancouver. Actually, a level 3 class, actually, that starts in about 2 hours. We're going to do panic accumulators today. Some really cool option stuff there. So it's an exciting time to be in the market. Don't think you need to chase. Just be patient. Come up with your fundamental ideas. What's your sort of short list, your shopping list? And then just let the setups come in. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, I think that's my rant for you today. I hope you got some value, as I always say. All the best. Have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. Kevin, if you could take us out of here, I'd love you for it. PMA for the win, and bye for now.